Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Kalista supplementary guide, and we're gonna be taking a look at Kalista with more reminder. Now this is still the standard on hit Kalista build, just that we swapped out the Terminus for a more reminder. Let's see if we still have the build. No, we don't actually. We kind of changed the build a little bit, but basically, this is pretty much the standard build you go on Kalista. You sometimes will go for the Terminus instead, but basically, we're going to start with the Gluttonous Grease for the attack speed. Of course, really important, even though Kalista did just get the adjustment that her hopping scales less with attack speed, you still, of course, need a lot of attack speed just for the hopping and just to get your spirits in faster. Then you're going to Borg first item, more attack speed, physical vamp as well, and on hit current health damage just to, of course, get your on hit going, right? Then you go for Runans. Runans allows you to put spirits into 3 people at the same time, and then of course pluck them out at the same time. Hopefully kill one, get a reset, and move on to the rest. Right? Wits End, another really solid on hit item. On hit magic damage, magic resist, attack speed, healing when you're below half HP. And then you go into More Reminder. Now, More Reminder is normally gone for when there's decent amount of healing on the enemy team. You of course get the Armor Pen and the Grievous Wounds. And then finally, you normally go for defensive item. Twin Guard is very, very common here. And then for the runes, of course, we go for Lethal Tempo for the attack speed and the range. Brutal as usual. Coup de Grace is kind of the different one than usual, because with Kalista, you always want to go for this because the execute is always going to be below when they're 40% with your spears. So this is going to just make it such that you can execute them more easily with the help of Coup de Grace, Alacrity for attack speed, Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities, and of course you go for Flash together with Cleanse, just to get rid of the CC. If you don't need Cleanse, then Barrier or Exhaust works very well as well. But with all that said, let's move on to the gameplay. Okay, so let's look at the gameplay. Now, the first things first, I kind of want to tell you guys at the start is, full disclosure, is that this game was played like 1 day before the Kalista quote-unquote rework. Now, I kind of thought that Kalista was already reworked, but then I played her and I didn't really notice any change. And then the patch notes were already out for 6.1F, but it was only in the next day that the game itself actually patched over. So at the end of the day, this is actually the old Kalista, not the new one. And I kind of already felt it playing the game, that I felt no difference. So it kind of did make sense that this is not actually the new Kalista. I thought it was the new one. I wanted to test it out, but it wasn't the new one at all. So that's just a little bit unfortunate. So yeah. Anyways, here we are together with the Amumu here. Now, Amumu Kalista is kind of a little bit of a combo, a little bit like Amumu Misfortune, but for different reasons. This is because Kalista can ult Amumu, suck him in, and then toss him back out onto the enemy team, which puts him in a position to get off an ulti. And here we get a very aggressive early game trade. Both ADCs are going for the supports. Now, I'm not pretty low. It's a 1-for-1 trade between myself and the Morgana, at least for now. Amumu running for the hills is able to survive at pretty low HP. And we are able to survive. We are not able to survive, but Amumu is able to survive, thereby not giving away another kill. So yeah, Kalista, after the changes, I haven't really tried her very much. And also, I'm not sure if she'll still be built in the same way, because on hit is kind of getting nerfed. But at the same time, Kalista has never really been a crit ADC. And also, she doesn't really build lethality in Wild Rift. So I'm not really sure what she's going to be building in the next patch, but we're going to have to see about that. Anyways, here now we're back to the laning phase, and we're back to Amumu going in. Ezreal has to kind of shift out. Another kind of very interesting interaction with Kalista against poke lanes is, her second ability, the Ghost, can be used to block abilities. Now, you will see that later in the game. You see I use the Ghost here, and it's not just, obviously I can see them, right? It's actually to block abilities. So here, I get the kill onto Kalista. I get the full stack Lethal Tempo. Now I'm going onto the Ezreal, taking a bunch of damage here. I'm trying to trade onto Ezreal, but unfortunately I don't quite get it. Thankfully though, Talon is here to clean up. He's able to secure the kill and then escape with no problem. Hecarim can't really get him. But yeah, that Ghost, I think it's a skill to be able to activate your Ghost at the right time to block abilities. Like, you can block Ezreal Q, you can block Morgana Q. Anything that's not point and click, you can actually block. of course, you can't really block some other things in the game. Like, for example, you can't block Victor's laser. It's still going to laser you and the ghost at the same time. But anything that can only hit one target can be blocked by that little ghost. And as I said, you will see this a little bit later on. Yeah, there it is. So there you see, I actually launched the ghost and blocked the Ezreal Q right as he launched it, leaving me at still full health. And honestly, this ghost is not very useful for a lot of things. Like, you can use it to check for vision every now and again, but in general, it's not very useful of a spell. So I think using it to just block a key ability is always going to be good. So here Amumu's going in. We are both level 5. Amumu holding the ult for a long time. Finally hits it onto the Ezreal right as he shifts in. Does pay the price for it though. However, I'm able to kill the Ezreal and then the Morgana before Morgana is able to get her ulti off, leaving me with a double kill and leaving the enemy team not being able to kill me. Now for 2-1, and I'm slowly building toward my Blade of the Rune King. So now we're just going to run back to the lane. Now, we haven't really seen me tossing the Amumu in yet. Of course, we've only really just both gotten our ultimates not too long ago. So we will definitely see that a little bit later on in the gameplay. Now, I will say that Kalista is actually a really challenging champion to play. Now, there I tried to block the Q with the Ghost, but it wasn't actually even needed because it didn't reach. And it's because you have to kind of take note of a lot of things with Kalista. Like, to play Kalista at a basic level is quite simple, right? You really only need to take note of your Q, E, and your autos, right? And your hopping around. Hopping around is a mechanic that you kind of have to master at the start as well. But when you start getting better at Kalista, then you start to realize that you can use your W to block spells, you can use your ulti to save allies and to engage as well. And the W, not WD, yes, the W and the ult is something I didn't really use a lot when I first started playing Kalista, and I have had matches where I don't ult the whole match, or I ult like once or twice at most in the entire match, which is really bad because obviously you're losing a lot of power on Kalista, and because of the fact that the ult and the W is difficult to use, I actually think Kalista is one of the harder champions to play in the game. So definitely not a very simple champion, right? So here I'm just going to clear the wave while the enemy team is doing the dragon. My team is doing the herald for trade, so there's no reason to go over and contest the dragon. Enemy team slays the dragon without any issue at all. And here we're just going to clear up the minions. Now here Amumu flashes in with the ulti. We're going to instantly one-shot the Morgana. He goes in onto the Ezreal next, but I can't really reach. I could flash the wall, but I don't think we're going to be killing Ezreal there, so no point to waste the flash there. Here I'm trying to push onto the minions here. And we get a little bit of tower damage, but not too much. Now, Ezreal and Morgana still looking to be aggressive. Once again, I blocked the Morgana Q with the Ghost. I'm getting a lot better at that because I've been playing a lot of Kalista recently, even though she's not been a very solid spot. I've just been having a lot of fun playing Kalista. So here I ulti, toss the Amumu in. Amumu gets the knock-up, and we're gonna execute the Morgana. Now here I'm body blocking for the Ezreal Qs, and then I'm able to finish him off without too big of an issue. Right, so unfortunately Amumu didn't have ult there, but it still didn't matter. We're still able to make the aggressive play, get the double kill, and continue snowballing. Now with that, we get both components of the Runan's Hurricane. Of course, Runan's is a huge spike for Kalista, seeing as you can now attack 3 targets simultaneously, and then you can also, of course, pull out the spears from them simultaneously. So with Kalista, it's very important to snowball. So looking at the situation now, we clearly have the most gold in the game, and we're in a very solid spot. Definitely a position you want to find yourself in as Kalista. And here, once again, we're just going to shove in the wave. Talon and Ahri are coming, but I'm not sure if we really want to be diving. Hecarim actually now shows up to the party, so we're actually rotating here. Hecarim and Victor are also both there, so it looks like it could be a 4v4 if a fight does break out. Amumu trying to control the bush. Can't really do that. We're gonna back away as our Ahri has died and Talon has run away. So we're on the losing end of the skirmisher there. Now we now have the Victor in our lane trying to harass us under tower. But it's fine. Both myself and Amumu have ult and all sums, so I think it's highly unlikely that we die under the tower here. Now I'm just checking if Victor is in that bush. One of the few times I use the ghost actually for vision instead of blocking a spell. Morgana has wasted her black shield and her stun, so she's gonna be free food. And Amumu, Madman, goes in on 1 HP, but we're able to save him with the ulti, and he survives the Victor ult as well, allowing us to actually get another kill. That's a very good use of the Kalista ult there, which once again I was really bad at doing, but I've gotten better as I played more and more Kalista games. And now I can kind of execute the ulti to save my teammates, as well as the ulti to engage, as we have already seen from earlier on in this video. So here we now complete our Runaan's Hurricane, and now building into Wit's End. Now Wit's End's a really decent buy, because we have, of course, Victor and Morgana both building AP. Now some games it's kind of awkward where the enemy team is really heavy AD or no AP at all, and you're kind of wondering, should I even go for the Wit's End? Now, I would say probably not. Like, it's probably not worth it to go for Wit's End if you're paying money for magic resist, which is not needed at all. I would say at that point just go for Terminus instead, or just go for Earlier Moral Reminder. Maybe even go for a Phantom Dancer. So here, we decide to chase the Morgana, but it's actually quite stupid, right? So firstly, we're getting completely chunked here, and we're gonna have to kind of hop away, right? Morgana is like 0 and 6, right? She's worth nothing, right? So I should have just gone for the tower instead of the Morgana, but I kind of got the wrong message there from my Amumu. Now here, Amumu turns onto Ezreal, and we could have actually easily killed the Ezreal here, in which we do, but I was a little bit out of position there, allowing Hecarim to eventually kill me. If I was a little bit closer to Amumu, we could have one-shot the Ezreal, prevented Ezreal from getting off any damage at all. I might have survived Hecarim if I got lucky. Might have died anyway, but we'll never know. Yeah, but there, definitely I should not have been chasing onto Morgana. I should have been just taking the tower for free, and then just either chasing after that or just backing off. Right? There's no reason to chase a 0 and 6 Morgana. She's not really worth much gold anyway, so that's definitely a mistake. And my team secures the dragon. So it's not all bad. My team still has a lead in most lanes. Actually, basically we have a lead in every lane, but it's just how big the lead is. Obviously, the biggest of leads is on myself versus the Ezreal. And here, because of how far ahead we are able to basically go and invade the enemy's jungle. Hecarim is finding himself in a 1v3 with not much place to run. He's getting chased away by Amumu. Amumu is very deep in by himself. No one can really reach Amumu. Amumu's now in a 1v4. And Amumu ends up going down. So here they're using the Ghost for Vision once again. There is control ward here, so we know enemy team can spot us in that bush, but I think trapping there is not much use because they know that their Grump and their Wolves, the Grump and the blue buff are already gone, so there's no reason for them to actually walk there. They wouldn't walk there for no reason. So it's a trap that would never have worked. So now I'm gonna recall. I complete the Wit's End, so now on the 3-item power spike. Good thing about Wit's End is a very cheap item, 2,700 gold. Very cheap. Now here I'm just debating of whether or not I actually want to go to the bot lane because yeah, I'm just checking to see where I should deploy. So I deploy bot lane to stop the Ezreal from pushing, and there's already people in the other lanes, so basically I'm checkmate. There's only one lane I can really go unless I want to compete with other people for farm. You can see Hecarim and Yasuo in the top lane as well as Victor, so we know that the enemy team is making a play top. So if we find Ezreal or Morgana and bot, we can go aggressive onto them by ourselves, seeing as we are really fed. But no one actually shows up. So now we push out the wave, force the enemy team to respawn. We're going to head over here to take this red buff. Hop back over with the blast plant. Just take the skull crab, not much to farm here. Now Amumu is pretty far out. We're going to actually hide here to see if we can make a play with the Amumu. Ari is coming over. No, she's not. She's just recalling. Ezreal goes in super aggressive, uses everything on Amumu. I get spotted on the ward, so I kind of have to pop out here. Now I'm trying to get off my DPS, hop out of the Victor, the Morgana ult, sorry. Now here, it was really close, but I thought I could kill the Hecarim before he could kill me, but I was sorely mistaken. Hecarim is now incredibly fed. Yeah, I thought I could get the execute on him before he could kill me, but that was not the case, and I ended up dying, as does Amumu. So the play doesn't really work out. We actually kind of mess up there by making that play. And Hecarim now has basically as much gold as me, and he's really fed. Definitely an issue that we don't really want. But this is why we kind of need to go for the Mole Reminder. Hecarim heals a lot, so getting Mole Reminder against Hecarim is very important. It's also, in this case, technically quite useful against champions like Yasuo, for example, who also has Bork and also has healing. So it's also going to work on him. I guess the rest of the champions don't really have a ton of healing, but Ezreal, of course, does have Glutton's Grief, so it does work out against him as well. Now here, just getting more farm, getting the jungle cam, going for these minions. Jax comes and basically takes the minions. Now here, Engage goes on to multiple people. Now this Victor, I'm in the backline whacking him. I'm going to have to hop away because of Morgana showing up. Talon dies to the Ezreal snipe. Now we're going to hop forward, getting down our spears onto multiple people. Now we're going to chase this Victor down. Victor flashes away, we flash to follow. We're going to get rid of him. And then Yasuo goes down as well. Hopping my way back to the safety of the other side of the tower. And I see a huge wave down there that I definitely want to be getting. So I'm going to walk all the way down there just to clear this wave. Next wave is also coming pretty soon. You can see it mirrored on our side that there is another wave coming. But we don't actually need to clear this wave if we don't want to. So we're just going to... I was going to say we're just going to recon instead, but since the enemy team is all still dead, we ace them and we have a little bit of spare time, we can clear up this wave and then we can reset just to get off a better push that the enemy team has to respond to. Here we get the Last Whisper, the other component of the Mole Reminder. Next dragon's coming up, but this is third dragon for neither team, so it's not going to be Soul, but it is probably going to be a fight. So just using the Ghost to check the bush, I spot Ezreal. I thought he was going to walk straight, but he actually turned back. Tries to get some damage on. Now here Yasuo runs into us, we force out the wind wall just from us being there. Huge Amumu ulti goes in. I'm just free hitting onto the backline for the most part. I really late cleanse by me, a little bit of a waste there. Trying to get out of the way of the Victor ultimate. Now I'm just hitting over the wall. I'm just trying to hit somebody, anybody. Stasis being popped here. I'm trying to just kite around and trying to but unfortunately we get caught by Yasuo Tornado, and that is going to be all she wrote for us at least. And the enemy team is now starting to win fights. So this is getting to be pretty scary because initially, of course, in the early game, my team were kind of stomping them, but now the enemy team is all kind of catching up. So you can see that at this current state of the game, we still have gold leads on basically all the lanes, but the gold leads are now very, very narrow, right? There's only a 2k gold difference between the two teams, which at this stage of the game is not very significant. So for all intents and purposes, both teams are kind of even at the moment, and we're both just trying to find that one or two fights that's gonna swing the game, give us like a Baron or an Elder or something like that, and then win us the game, right? So here, Talon finds a little bit of a catch onto the Morgana, goes deep in, kills the Morgana with the ulti. And here you can see there's a huge wave in bot lane. I got to clear this wave. If not, there's not only going to be a ton of gold wasted, but the tower is also going to go down, right? So we're going to quickly clear up the wave, and then we can rotate over to the Baron. Right? We just got to pick on the Morgana, so this is a possible Baron angle with my team having a numbers advantage. So I'm going to hop over to the Baron, help to DPS down the Baron just a little bit. Hecarim is now coming in. We kill him before the Baron gets low, and then we secure the Baron, no biggie. This gives us the goal to get the Mole Reminder. And with the Baron, hopefully we can push down a couple of inhibs at least. And now we're just going mid because you can see there's obviously a fight happening there in the top lane as well as the mid lane. Now my team kind of throwing a little bit. I'm coming to join the fight. Jax Hex gets to safety. Here I'm trying to see if Amumu actually needs my ulti. I'm holding the ulti up till the last point where Amumu was about to get hit by the Ezreal Q, and then I ult to save the Amumu's life. Now Jax is in the bot lane, but he's not farming the minions down there. So I guess I'm going to go there and farm the minions while he farms the next wave that comes in. And Jax is just getting chased down by like 4 people. He's not going to survive. He jumps in and just dies right before the Elder spawn. That's not very good. Ari is now back up though. So next fight is going to be an Elder, and we're in a 4v5. Not a very good situation for my team. But we're going to see if we can find a pick onto Yasuo here. Yasuo getting caught, Yasuo goes down, so in the end it's a top laner for top laner trade, with our top laner respawning first. We did use some tools there like Amumu Flash though, so it's not a free kill exactly, but it's definitely a good pick. So here Elder Dragon is up, obviously we're going to go to Elder. Obviously the enemy team is probably going to be coming to Elder. We know Hecarim is coming from the mid lane side because we saw him in mid lane. Morgana tries to basically face check here. We secure the Elder using our Rend. And with the help of the Elder, we execute the Hecarim. Now I need to recall just to restore my health, and I don't really think we want to continue the fight here. Minions are taking the top lane inhibitor, courtesy of the Baron that we got just now. Top lane inhib has been taken by the minions. And my team has now all been able to successfully reset and spend their gold. And now here I'm cautiously pushing up on my own, knowing that Victor and Morgana are in vision. We can see Morgana there. Victor was in the bot lane, might come here, does come here. But another thing is that it's really hard to push against Victor, right? Because Victor has really good wave clear. Right? You can see that the minions are not even able to crash under the tower, which is a bit problematic, right? Because we can't really push the tower without minions. Now I'm trying to push down the tower before Victor comes to clear the wave. But doesn't really work out. The wave gets cleared. We did do a decent amount of tower damage. Ari just randomly dashes in and pops the stasis, like waste of out and stasis there, unfortunately. Did distract the enemy team a little bit though. And now once again we're trying to force the tower. We get rooted, so we're gonna cleanse out so we don't get chain CC'd by the other people on the enemy team. Hecarim now is going in. We still have Elder, by the way, so this is not going to be a good fight for the enemy team for the most part. If we actually get into a fight, Hecarim gets a free pick without really even fighting, so that was a really good play by him. Now at this point, no real fight is really happening, so I'm actually going to reset, get Twin Guard. This is basically full build except for my enchant, and then I'm going to go over to Baron, right? So we still have about 10 seconds of Elder left, right? So there is a world where we can use that, leverage that to secure the Baron, right? Although I would say that that world is kind of far away, right? So I waste a bit of time doing jungle monsters like that. I should not be doing that. I should just be running straight to the Baron. Talon tanks a lot of damage, and there is no ward left in the pit. Courtesy of control, Hecarim ults in. Amumu of all people secure the Baron. I'm pretty low. Hecarim tries to go for me, doesn't actually get the kill on me, and here Morgana is doing a bit of work here, so I'm not going to pursue any further. I thought that might hit me, so I flashed away just in case. I actually think that probably wouldn't have hit me in hindsight, but in the game I was just panicking. I did not want to die here right as we secure Baron, and we can go for a game-ending push with Jax taking that top lane inhib, and we're all now just pushing down mid. This could be the game-ending push here, so I do not want to die for that. And have a flash and be dead. So here minions are now just pouring into the enemy team's base. I'm just hopping around. I take a bunch of damage here. Amumu ends up going down. I have my Twin Guard fully propped. And here, unfortunately, I'm getting kind of zoned off the base, right? So here you can see Hecarim is just running me down. However, thankfully the Winions finished the job onto the base. So pretty close there at the end. Pretty close throughout the entire game, actually, except maybe the early game. But I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.